Hi, I'm Jon Snow. I've covered every budget since 1989, and I'm going to tell you what it is and why it matters. Once a year, the Chancellor stands up and presents his budget for the next 12 months. Staggeringly, he has £731 billion, yes, £731 billion of our money to spend on us. His is the biggest chequebook in Britain. The man, so far it's only ever been a man, in charge of the UK's finances, gives an update on how the economy is doing. Based on that, he tells Parliament, and in so doing, us. Because remember, these people work for us, you and me, about what he plans to spend our money on, and explains any changes to our taxes required to pay for it all.
The noise being made is order, is a disgrace to the House of Commons.
So you may feel disconnected from this braying house of suits, but they're deciding how they're going to spend our money. Once they've debated his plan, the proposals are voted on and signed into law. Now, this word budget was first used to describe the government's finances way back in 1733. In those days, the government mostly raised money to fight wars, and the braying suits were even less representative than they are today. But the idea that the Treasury, the Finance Ministry, had to sign off on the money going in and out dated from slightly earlier. In fact, it first happened in 1720, after a massive financial crisis. It was a big financial bubble that burst, unleashing ruin and recession. I know, my 7 times great-grandfather, Jon Snow, was a banker then. He was one of those miserable people who lured people into unwise investments and caused the national debt to explode. Does that sound familiar? In around 1860, this appeared with Mr. Gladstone, a red leather box. To keep the contents secure, it stopped people finding out what was in it in advance and making a killing on the stock market. The same one was used for the next 100 years. At this time, chancellors also drank booze in the chamber, not beer like this. Mr. Gladstone drank sherry and egg white. This continued well into the 20th century. In the 1980s, Geoffrey Howe drank gin and tonic. Nigel Lawson drank a spritzer, not mixed by his daughter Nigella. Ken Clarke went for something stronger, whiskey. Sadly, the tradition of drinking on the job has died out with the latest crop of politicians. But the tradition of taxing alcohol has not. So, how does the Chancellor get £731 billion from us? Income tax, the amount we all pay out on our salaries. Corporation tax, what companies pay from their profits. VAT, a tax added to stuff you buy. So what does he spend it on? In descending order, these are the most expensive services the government provides. Top of the list, welfare and pensions. Last year, that was £222 billion in pensions and in benefits for people of working age. Next, the NHS. That was £140 billion on health and hospitals. Then education, £98 billion on schools and everything else. Finally, defence. That's £38 billion on the armed services. So look out on Wednesday. The money the government has taken off all of us is going to be redistributed, and it's our money. The budget isn't just about economics. It's also about politics. If people feel better off, that's the biggest vote winner possible for those in power. The government want to do everything they can to drive that message home to you before the election. And the opposition Labour Party will be trying to do everything they can to rubbish the Chancellor's proposals. If you liked this video, do subscribe to Channel 4 News to see all of our videos explaining key parts of the upcoming election.